Erik Erikson in his Psychosocial theory of development. The theory where the role of culture and society is greatly emphasized, and development happens throughout the whole life. The core concept of the theory is that individual is faced with a crisis at each stage of the development, and a successful completion of the stage results in healthy personality traits, while failure leads to unhealthy personality and inability to successfully complete further stages. In total, there are 8 stages of development. At the first stage, a child faces the crisis of trust versus mistrust. At around 18 months, if the child receives constant care and stability from their caregivers, then they develop trust and gain the virtue of hope. If the outcome is negative, the child develops fear, suspicion, and mistrust. In the next stage, the crisis of autonomy versus shame and doubt appears. Here, a child develops certain sense of independency and preferences for food, toys, and clothing. They start exercising their own will. It is important to have parent support during this stage, where they will let the child explore the world. In the case of failure, the child develops sense of shame and doubt and may become dependent on others in the future. Now, moving on to the stage of initiative versus guilt. Here, the preschooler starts to interact with their peers. Play is central at this stage. They learn about possibilities of leading a group and initiating activities. During this stage, they gain sense of purpose, responsibility, and develop self-confidence. If their initiatives aren't successful or they are over-controlled by parents, children may develop sense of guilt. At around the age of 6 to 12, the fourth stage occurs, which is the stage of industry versus inferiority. Teachers play an important role in the children's life. Here, kids will try to gain approval from teachers, parents, and peers. They start comparing themselves and their skills to others. By that, they either develop feelings of pride and accomplishment, or otherwise an inferiority complex might develop into adolescence and adulthood. At the fifth stage, which occurs during early adolescence, the stage of identity and role confusion, the teenager is trying to become more independent and figure out who they are or what they want to be. They will try to find their identity and try out different social roles. The positive virtue that comes out of it is fidelity, or the strong sense of identity. If the teenager struggles to adapt a positive role or is forced to conform to parents' or society's ideas of the self, they are most likely to rebel or experience role confusion in the future. Now, an individual is moving to young adulthood to adulthood. The crisis that is being looked at is intimacy versus isolation. People are all exploring relationships, sharing themselves with others, looking for long-term relationships. But if previous stages were not successful, this stage may appear troublesome. According to Erikson, a person must have a strong sense of self before developing intimate relationships. If this stage is resolved unsuccessfully, the negative outcome is isolation or loneliness. When a person reaches their 40s, they are faced with another crisis of generativity versus stagnation. It means people choose to either contribute to the development of the next generations through volunteering, mentoring, or they might experience stagnation with no sense of connection with others or desire for self-improvement. Lastly, from the mid-60s to the end of life, during the late adulthood, people reflect on their life and feel either satisfaction or regret. Being proud of accomplishment leads to integrity and wisdom. On the other hand, if they look back and feel as if they wasted their time, they get the sense of despair. So we learned the theory of psychosocial development by Erik Erikson, which showed the lifespan growth and how much culture and society plays in a role in one's personality. Thank you.